In this instructional video, we'll be going over the basics of wire cutting, stripping, and crimping. So, to begin with, you take your wire, and you should measure out the length of wire that you need for whatever you're doing to make wire management easier later. And then you just take your wire cutter, and then place the wire in the wire cutter and cut it. It should come out cleanly like this. Okay, so afterwards, you'll want to strip your wire because you want to use the actual metal part of the wire and probably connect it to something like this, which is it's a connector so that you can interface your wire with some other component. So your wire will have a certain thickness, which is known as a gauge, and so you should know the gauge of the wire that you're using beforehand. And on your wire stripper, there will be numbers corresponding to different size grooves, and you will be using the groove corresponding to the gauge of your wire to strip the wire. And so before you strip anything, you should know the length of wire that you need. So in this case, we'll be wanting to connect the wire to this terminator. And so this terminator has about ½ inch of housing, so we want the wire to be stripped wire to be a little longer than that. So then you put the wire into the proper size groove at the length you need, and then you make the cut, and now the wire should sit in between, and now you'll just rotate and wiggle the wire so that the plastic protection comes off. So now you have exposed bare wire, which you can use to interface with your connectors. Afterwards, you want to crimp. So basically, you'll want to secure the wire and the connector together. So what you do is you take the exposed end of the wire and you slide it into the connector. You might want to twist the wire in case the fibers are coming apart. Okay. So when you put it in, you should make sure that there's no bare wire on this side, the connection part, so that your bare wire isn't being exposed to anything. And part of the actual metal part of the wire should be sticking out at the end of the connector. Afterwards, you take your crimper, which will basically push down and compress the metal housing of the connector onto the wire so that it locks it in place. So you want to slowly position the connector and the wire. And make sure that the crimper is pressing down the metal housing of the connector. And then you want to push all the way down on the crimper. So now you have, and then you want to, afterwards, after you have pushed down and deformed the connector, you want to pull on the wire and the connector to make sure that they're properly secure.